All right, everybody. So like I said, we're going to get started promptly at 11:30 because we have a lot to cover in these 30 minutes, and I want to give people plenty of time to ask questions at the end. My name is Shelby Fiegel. I'm with the University of Central Arkansas Center for Community and Economic Development. And today we're going to be doing just a quick overview of what my staff in partnership with Entergy Arkansas and Mississippi State University and community leaders of Monticello have been working on for the past probably a year and a half, the Monticello Community Catalyst program. And this is really just to provide information to the community about this program, what we've done so far, and what's coming next. So let's get started. If my PowerPoint will move on. There we go. So just a quick overview if you're not familiar with the Community Catalyst program. So as I shared at the beginning, our partners for this initiative are primarily Entergy Arkansas, along with our staff at the University of Central Arkansas. Entergy approached UCA to start the Community Catalyst program to really create some momentum in the communities we serve all across the state. We also connected with the John C. Stennis Institute of Government at Mississippi State University and local community partners, including the Mayor's Office, Economic Development, UAM, University of Arkansas Monticello has been a huge partner, as well as various community leaders and business leaders in Monticello. So this was a competitive process for Monticello to be a part of. Monticello was selected along with 4 other communities across the state for this program. They did have to apply and be selected based on really whether our partners felt these communities were prepared to go through a process like Community Catalyst. And based on that application and interviews with leaders in Monticello, we felt very confident that Monticello was really primed and ready for this process and for the growth that hopefully will come from the Community Catalyst program. So our overall goal is really to just assist Monticello in grassroots citizen engagement and technical assistance training to develop small, actionable community goals. And that a part of that process includes utilizing a process called strategic doing, which I'm sure is an unfamiliar term to most people who are on this call, but that I will be sharing a little bit more about as we go on. So just a timeline of what's happened so far, and a lot has happened. So we did hit some delays in this program due to COVID-19. I'm sure everybody has had delays in their lives because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And it made us really hard to, when we first envisioned this program, we really imagined, that direct citizen engagement, convening in person. It's very hard to do these things virtually. So what we decided to do is kind of stretch out our timeline and implement some supplemental programs as a part of the Catalyst program before we hosted our strategic doing workshop. So to kick off that process in January 2021, we did do a community survey with Monticello. We had 525 responses, which is a huge outpouring of citizen support. Even in a community like Conway with upwards of 70,000 people, I believe that they've had survey responses about 1,200 to 1,500. So for Monticello's population in comparison to that, 525 responses is a great turnout for citizen engagement. We also completed a walk audit with Monticello community leaders in June 2021, and that was in partnership with Craft and Toll. So that walk audit, we actually took a small group of community leaders outdoors and walked through the downtown area, and the experts at Craft and Toll were able to share with those leaders, some changes and opportunities that could be had in the downtown area to make it more walkable, pedestrian friendly, and overall just a more thriving business center for the city. And then Monticello in August 2021 actually participated in our Community Development Institute that's hosted here at CDI. Our advanced year class is actually a group of community and economic development experts that travel to a community in Arkansas. So they traveled to Monticello and they did some online research about Monticello, interviews with community leaders, focus groups, a driving tour, interviews with residents. And through all that information, they bundled it up and made a report that outlined some key opportunities for Monticello to consider in the future. And so all of these items, the walk audit, the survey, the advanced year report, is all available on our website. We have a webpage for Monticello, which I'll share at the end of the presentation. And you can go and look and kind of dive more in depth into those pieces that I mentioned. So this is the big reason we're convening you today. So next steps, we've done the community survey, we've done the walk audit, we've done that advanced year report. So what we are really envisioning happening next is our strategic doing workshop. And this is going to be where we really engage with community leaders and residents to identify opportunities and action steps that Monticello can do right now to create positive energy in your community. So what is strategic doing? So strategic doing is a tool that allows people to form collaborations quickly, move towards measurable outcomes, and make adjustments along the way. Strategic doing is not just we're going to get together and share our opinions. It is doing, it's action, it's bringing people together to do something, not sit around and talk. Strategic doing, when we come together, we're going to utilize our resources and assets we have at our disposal to create opportunities that positively impact our community. So we're not going to think really pie in the sky. We're going to really think, what can we do right now? What are the low-hanging fruit that's impactful that we can complete in Monticello? And then for strategic doing, for the model to be successful, there really has to be collective buy-in and shared responsibility. So this is also an equitable process when we bring this group together during the workshop. The expectation for each person that participates is to take a little piece of the work on themselves, and then as a group take collective action instead of that work really falling on just one or two people's shoulders. So equitable action. So you might be familiar, raise your hand on the Zoom if you're familiar with strategic planning. I think most of us, yeah, see some, thank you, Dr. Doss, see you raise your hand. Most of us are probably very familiar with what strategic planning is. So to really put this more in context, I want to talk about the differences between strategic planning and strategic doing. So strategic planning is really appropriate for very stable environments. And since I mentioned Dr. Doss a second ago, I'm going to use UAM as an example. UAM is a very stable environment. They have a clear hierarchy. You have your administration at the upper level, your department heads, and then all of your supporting staff, and obviously faculty members. Someone is in charge. There's someone making decisions for that cohesive group, like at UAM. And strategic planning can sometimes be slow moving. So you plan and plan and plan. That person, those folks at the top are going to make the decisions on what needs to be done. And it's really a trickle down theory. They set the objectives, and then those objectives trickle down and the work flows through that pyramid. So there's nothing wrong with strategic planning. It just so happens that when we're in a community, we don't really have that clear hierarchy. We don't have somebody at the top who's setting objectives for our citizens, or our businesses, or our nonprofits, or our churches, or our schools. Those are all different entities that need to be working together to create positive momentum at the community level. So when we look at strategic doing and utilizing that process in a community, strategic doing offers a lot of flexibility. So these groups that we're going to form at our workshop, they're sharing equitably in the projects that they identify that they want to complete. There's distributed leadership. There's a core team that's making decisions. It's not just one person at the top telling everybody what to do. The foundation of strategic doing is in linked and leveraged assets. So again, what can I bring to the table that I'm willing to bring to the table to create opportunity? And it's focused on outcomes and action rather than really just planning for the future or the extended future. It's really what things can we do right now with the assets that we have right now. And then strategic doing answers 4 questions that are very important as a part of the process. So you start off with, what could we do? What are all the things in the universe that we could do? And you make a giant list of all those things. But then you look a little bit closer and you say, well, we could do all of these things, but what should we do? What are the things that have the most impact in our community? And then finally, sometimes things have a really great impact, but what do we want to do? What will we do? What are we committed to doing? So again, it's asking yourself, it's just whittling down to the core of what you want to be a part of and what you feel comfortable being a part of. And then what's our 30-30 is a term in strategic doing that just says, hey, we're going to follow up with each other. We're going to make a plan. We're going to identify what we're going to do. We're going to make a plan. And then we're going to meet in 30 days for 30 minutes to discuss what we've done. And then we're going to set new small action items. And again, in 30 days, we're going to meet again for 30 minutes, talk about those action items, make new ones, and adjust along the way. So in Monticello, we are going to bring together everybody. Hopefully we have some folks on this call and others in the community and leaders in the community that will participate in a strategic doing workshop. And so the goal of that workshop is really going to be to share ideas for the future of Monticello and what it could be. Partner with neighbors to identify and implement real opportunities to make a positive impact. Be a part of making Monticello a better place to live, work, and play. And you're going to learn a new tool. Really, what we want you to bring out of this is you can take this strategic doing process and use it at the community level, but you can also learn this process and use it within your business, your organization, your nonprofit group. When you volunteer, you can use this process. So it's a great tool just for citizens to learn to take back to their real life. So next steps, we're going to be hosting these community information meetings. We have this one today during the lunch, just 30 minutes during lunch. We also are going to have this same presentation on January 27th from 6 to 6:30. So if you have some friends or neighbors who are interested in attending and talking to us and asking questions and hearing this in real time, let them know we will be back doing this January 27th at 6 o'clock. And then we plan to utilize that strategic doing process to move the Community Catalyst program forward. So we want Monticello community members and citizens to lead these community development projects. We want to create those connections between the leadership and just the boots on the ground to really get everybody moving in the right direction. So I've talked about the strategic doing workshop quite a lot. That workshop will be on Monday, March 7th, and that will be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Sadie Johnson Community Center. We're going to provide lunch for everybody, and we're going to make sure you get out before 3 if you need to go pick up your kiddos at school. And we'll also have breakfast for everyone too when you come in at 9. So with that, if you do want to learn more and sign up for the workshop, look at those reports that I talked about. This is the link that you're going to want to go to. So register and learn more at uca.edu/go/Monticello. Very easy, hopefully, to remember. And I think that I got us done in 15 minutes, which is what I was shooting for, because I really want to leave time for us to just talk, answer any questions anybody has on the call, and hopefully build some excitement for this process. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I have everybody's email addresses as well. So I'll send out this recording and I'll send out the link to everyone on the call. But with that, I'm just going to open it up to everybody. This is really your 15 minutes to grill me, grill my staff. We have some members of our leadership team that we've been working with. Dan Boyce with the Planning Commission and UAM, Jeff Weaver with UAM, Dr. Peggy Doss with UAM. Like I said, UAM has been a great partner. And so I just really, and Michael, I see Michael Hudson with AMP Commission with the city. So again, just going to open it up and let the discussion begin. And no question is too simple for us to answer.
Hello, Shelby.
Hey, Jamie.
Hey, my name is Jamie Palmer. Nice to meet you. I was just wondering, when you meet again on that Monday for the all day, that is the time that everybody's kind of going to get together and plan plan the
Absolutely.
doing of the next steps.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that you ask a great question, and I'll even dive, since we have a ton of questions, I'll dive a little bit more into what that day looks like so you guys can prepare if you're interested. So we're going to be walking through that strategic doing process. Really what strategic doing is it's 10 steps. The easiest way to describe it is we're going to break into groups based on just whoever you want to sit with, common interest. And we're also going to have some commissions with the city joining us. So we'll have like A&P Commission, Planning Commission, the Airport Commission, couple others off the top of my head that I can't remember, but bringing those leaders together as well that are going to select out to go through the process, and then just general community groups. So when we walk through the process, we start off with obviously setting the tone for the day, laying some ground rules. But the most important thing that we're going to do is we're all going to share our personal assets with one another. So for example, my personal assets would probably be, I have a connection to UCA, I have a network of folks throughout the state that we work with. I feel like I'm a pretty good communicator. I have some graphic design skills, some photography skills. So let's just use this as a basis. Dylan Edgel, who's on my team, my assistant director, Dylan's skills that he could bring to the table are a little bit different than mine. Dylan is the Excel guru. He's one of those data people. That's why we complement each other really, really well. So let's say those are the skills Dylan's bringing to the table. So the next step after that is to look at all of the assets that we have at our table and say, how can we connect these assets together to create an opportunity or a project that we want to potentially do in Monticello. So for Dylan and I, maybe something that we want to do is do like we did a community survey. Maybe we say we want to do a community survey about our potential to have a new water park in Monticello, whatever it might be. So we're wanting to do a survey on a water park, what people would want to see at the water park if it's feasible. So maybe I decide to do all of the graphics. I put a communication plan in place. Dylan would be able to take all of those survey results, create a survey, and analyze that data. So that'd be a good fit as an opportunity for us to move forward. But we might come up with a list of opportunities. So then next, out of that list of opportunities we identify, we say, as a group, really, which of these things do we want to do, has the most impact, and is the easiest to do? So we're not going to leave that out. We actually have a chart where each member of the group is going to grade each opportunity or top 3 opportunities and say, you know, which one do we want to move forward with? So this is not just simply an idea gathering session. It is truly, we are selecting the thing that we want to do as a group. And it could be something as simple as, like I said, developing a survey and implementing that survey. It could be just, we want to get the local high school beta club to go and do a cleanup day in the park. Or it could be something as advanced as we want to host a workforce development summit in partnership with UAM. So it could be a variety of different ideas. It's really completely up to that group and what they're comfortable with and what they're willing to do. So then you select that opportunity, and then you're going to create some outcomes for that opportunity. So to say, how would we know this thing will be successful? You're going to set your outcomes, and then you're going to make a plan of action. You're going to say, okay, in the first 30 days, using the survey example, Dylan's going to create a draft of the survey. I'm going to reach out to all of our community partners and see if they would be willing to share the survey with their constituents. And then 30 days later, we come together and we say, well, Dylan, did you do what you're supposed to do? Shelby, did you do what you're supposed to do? And then you simply say, if you did, move on to the next step and say, you know what, Dylan got COVID and he didn't do what he was supposed to do. So maybe we say, okay, Dylan, again, if you're still willing, we'll draft that survey and then we'll just do that in the next 30 days. So being flexible. And again, it's just really learning this very simple process to create momentum. And so in a lot of communities that we work with, they spend a lot of time when they're doing strategic planning on the planning piece. And we all get together and we throw out ideas and we make a big list of everything we could do in the whole world in Monticello. We print it up in a beautiful report. We have a great unveiling ceremony where we say, look, we got all of this input, and then everybody's really excited. And then somebody finally eventually says, okay, so who's going to do this? And then everybody's like, well, I don't really want to take responsibility for that. So we're really cutting through that process and immediately creating that action. And again, if some of these projects don't come to fruition, again, it's just learning this tool that can be used in really any setting in your work or even maybe your personal life. So there's a lot of ways to get benefit out of this workshop. I think I over answered your question.
No, you did perfect. Is there like a Facebook page for this going on?
We do not have a Facebook page, but pretty much all of our updates are shared through the Monticello Economic Development page and the City of Monticello, the mayor's office. And UAM has also been sharing a ton of our updates through their network. But that web page that I listed, the uca.edu/go/Monticello, that's where all of that information is going to live. If you want to share a direct link to share with people. Anything else?
Hi, this is Kiko. I have a question. So can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Kiko.
Okay.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. So when I work with a project, I would like to know what's the vision for Monticello. Do we have any vision statement from Monticello?
Absolutely. We are working right now. So that is a
Okay.
part of the process, that 10-step process.
Yeah.
Actually, the second step is setting a vision for the process.
Okay.
So
good.
we are working literally as I speak to set that vision statement with our leadership group. We've developed a general vision statement that we share with community leaders. We're going to be sending out that via email to the folks that we've been in contact with. They'll probably make some tweaks to it. They'll say, well, maybe we should use this word, or maybe we want to focus more on this opportunity in Monticello. And then we will share that with everyone at the workshop to really set the tone, because I 100% agree with you. If you don't have a vision, a shared vision, it's impossible to move forward.
We cannot break it down to
Exactly.
actual planning. So, okay, that's great.
Perfect. Perfect question. I'm glad you asked that. Okay, if there are no more questions, I do just want to open up the final minutes we have to some of our partners that have been helping lead this process. Dr. Doss, Dan, Jeff, Michael, if you have any comments or just anything you want to share with the group to kind of encourage folks to be a part of this process.
This is tremendously exciting, Shelby. Thank you so much for your leadership and helping us as a community really gather resources and input. And I'm just so excited about seeing what's going to transpire now with not only the resources you've gathered, but the people that we can bring together.
Thanks so much, Dan. And I do want to say Dan is probably one of the funniest people I've ever met. So if you don't know Dan, you need to know him.
So Shelby, I would just say to the group that it's been certainly an eye-opening process, I think, for all of us. We've learned so much from you and your team, and you've been so extraordinarily supportive of us all the way through the step. And it's really a pleasure being able to look, I think, right now at the spectrum of people who are involved in this conversation, representing all aspects or many aspects of Monticello and different interests. And I think that's really encouraging, because I think collectively you get a lot of different insights and views and opinions and recommendations. So I look forward to continuing the process, and I'm just so happy that UAM can be a part of it, because if this community is successful and grows, and UAM successful and grows, I mean, those two depend on each other so very, very much. And so the future of our university will depend a great deal upon how much we can grow our community and improve it and be a place that's attractive and brings new people in and it's a place that everyone is comfortable in living. So this is certainly a win-win opportunity, I think, for all of us, and I'm appreciative that we can be a part of it. Thank you. Thank you for your leadership, you and your team.
No, thank you, Dr. Goss. And I want to make a comment about Dr. Goss as well, that your leadership is exceptional at UAM as well as in the community of Monticello. And we are so thankful to have another university partner a part of this, because we would not be able to do this without our community partners, and especially UAM. They've just been fantastic and devoted so much energy to making sure that this happens and is successful. Okay. Any other final words? Like I said, I wanted to keep this short and sweet to the point, and everybody got the picture. We didn't have anybody on here that wasn't ready to go. And I just want to say, I'm so excited to be a part of what's happening in Monticello. I think that you all have such a fantastic opportunity to really be a shining star in the state. And I think you are. I think you are already the leader for Southeast Arkansas, and really just spreading the good word about Monticello is really what we want to bring out of this process. Clarissa, thank you so much. I saw your comment in the chat. And I just really appreciate all of you. And I hope, again, that you'll join us for the Strategic Doing Workshop on March 7th. We're really excited to be in person in Monticello. So that's the best part of this, is seeing everybody face to face and really engaging with one another. And we'll share all this information again in a follow-up email. Please spread the word if you have anybody interested for that January 27th convening. Very nice to meet you all. This has been such a sweet group, but everybody's been so nice in the chat, and I can tell everybody's been really engaged in this conversation. So again, hope to see you soon. Please feel free to email me, contact me if you have any questions. I'll provide my contact information as well. And with that, everybody, that's all I have. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thanks, Shelby. Bye-bye.